Super Scholars! It's Miss Gross. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday. I know that I am so excited that we are halfway through this week. We are continuing today with Chapter 3, The Family Dog. Now, before I go through and we read this chapter again, I want to go to the day 2 learning intentions for you. Since this is the second day of chapter 3, we're going to focus on our characters today. So you have, I am learning to describe characters based on their thoughts, words, and actions. Your success criteria is I'll know I have it when I can explain what a character's thoughts, words, or actions reveals about them. And when it says reveals, it means like, what does that mean about that character? What does what they've said or what they've done show you about them? Okay, so before we go into reading it, what did you all learn yesterday about figurative language and idioms? As I was looking through some of my Go Formatives, I noticed that I saw some really wonderful examples of idioms. I know before we went on our little Corona break, my reading groups were working on making their own idioms. So if you were in my reading group, then you should have been a rock star at coming up with these. I love idioms. I think they're a lot of fun to imagine. So today we are focusing on the character traits when we read this. So yesterday you were focusing on figurative language, but today you need to focus on what are these characters saying and how does that affect what we know about them. Okay, so I'm going to play the video again with Miss Carr reading this. If you feel as though you don't need to listen to it again, you're welcome to skip through. You can always hide it in a ribbon. And once you have it I don't know about you all, but the part at the end when Tucker comes up and gets Miss Carr, I think is the best part. It's the perfect for the family dog chapter. So, this chapter I thought was hilarious because I can picture poor little Fudge acting like a dog and Peter being so frustrated. So, let's look at the vocabulary really quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I know it's day 2 and you already went over vocabulary with Miss Carr yesterday, but I do want to take a second to look back at it. Impressed. When you are so impressed, then that means you are very surprised and that someone has done something very well. Okay, I am very impressed with some of the test scores from our topic 13 and 14 test on Monday. You all did a great job. Okay, brilliant. Super scholars are what you are because you are doing such a great job learning from home even when it is difficult. We also have tumbled, okay? Something tumbled, that means it fell. So like I tumbled down the steps. Relieved. I know that we will all be so relieved when we can go back to school and see all of our friends again. And motioned. When you motion to something, that means you're pointing at something. Okay, so yesterday you talked about your figurative language and your monkey business with idioms. Today we're going to talk about the characterization. Okay, so what do thoughts, words, and actions reveal about a character? Okay, so for each of the characters, Peter, Mom, and Dad, we're going to go through and look at these quotes at the bottom. Now, some of you might have a hard time seeing them. I know that I'm blind. Something you can do is you can drag the box out to make it bigger. Just make sure that you put it back once you're finished reading them. So I'm going to start with Peter here. And it says, what do Peter's thoughts, words, and actions reveal about him? It says, no, I told her, I'm not going to stand on my head anymore. I went into my room and slammed the door. I played with Dribble until supper time. Nobody ever worries about me the way they worry about Fudge. If I decided not to eat, they'd probably never even notice. Okay, so I'm going to drag this back because if you notice, my type boxes are off. So even though I made it larger, I'm going to put it back where it belongs so that I can type. Okay, so I'm going to type in here the answer to what this tells me about Peter. To me, it sounds like Peter's really frustrated with his family. What else does it tell you about Peter? You can do the same thing for Mom and Dad over here. I can't read them, so I'm going to make them a little bit bigger so that I can see it. Okay? But again, just make sure that you line it back up with the corner of the orange there so that you are typing in the right spot. Okay, so tell me about Peter's character, Mom's character, and Dad's character in this chapter. Okay, so this chapter is not having us think about Fudge. We're just thinking about Peter, Mom, and Dad. We're also going to complete the other slide about picky eaters. Okay, so why do you think Fudge is being a picky eater? There's one big point here that a lot of my super scholars have been missing while we're in learning from afar, and it's using details from the text to support your answer. A lot of friends are just giving me a reason and not telling me why. Make sure that you use the details from the text to say why. This article, if you click on it, will take you to an article about picky eaters. Okay, so why do picky eaters say yuck to different foods? I'll tell you a secret. I'm pretty picky. I don't like a lot of different things. I'm pretty hard to please when it comes to food, but I'm getting better. One thing that I refuse to eat, but I'm trying so hard to teach Oakland how to eat, is onions, because just like we learned from holes, they are pretty good for you. But I can't stand them. Ugh, I think they're gross. So I'm pretty picky. What about you? Are you picky? Why do you think Fudge is picky? Can you imagine if somebody dumped cereal over my head to make me stop being picky? I think it might have a reverse effect. I'd probably never eat cereal again. Okay, super scholars, finish these last two slides up. There are no pink or blue slides today. It's just these two. Okay, so these are the only ones you have to worry about. And then we move on to chapter 4 tomorrow. Have a great day, super scholars. Bye.